Hello everyone, it's BG here, and we've got very big news today. We have got the recent announcement of My Hero Academia's second movie, and I'm not going to lie, this is going to come off at some of y'all, but I'm very nervous about this, and I'm not alone to talk about this. Introduce yourselves, guys.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Mr. Ninja Star, and I'm happy to be joining BG on another My Hero Academia video for you all. This movie's going to be interesting to talk about, to say the least.
Let's just say I'm 4 inches hard right now talking about this movie. Yeah. Okay. There you go, BG. I'm throwing it back to you now. I'm MJ, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's virtually no information about this so far, but we do know it's coming in winter 2020. Now, some would speculate that would mean that it's coming at the end of next year, but for what I know about anime schedules, or like seasons, they list the winter season as like the first 3 months of the year. So like say like January through March will be the winter season. That either means that the film will be released at the end of next year or the beginning. And more than likely, I'm taking it's going to be the beginning of the year. And that is very nerve-wracking when it comes to season 4, because that would mean they're probably going to either A, have to split their animators onto different projects, or B, they're going to take more time on the movie versus the anime itself. Kind of like what we saw last year with season 3, where the second half of the season kind of suffered due to the movie being a thing.
Yeah, now, obviously, people in this video were not hardcore animation experts, but you don't have to be to understand that season 3, when it came to some of the climactic battles that took place in the respective arcs, and also the second opening of season 3 of My Hero Academia, did suffer a bit, and we could probably just chuck that up to the fact that the movie was being made, so production schedule did kind of fall. It wasn't as bad as, let's say, Super during its first 2 arcs, or possibly One Punch Man season 2, not to throw shade, but so it wasn't like that bad, but there was still like a noticeable difference. And if you want a specific moment, I'll bring up Bakugo's moment when they propel him to save him during the climactic battle with All For One and All Might. You had Nakamura animating that beautiful launch scene, but you would think, had there been more time and had things been scheduled out properly, if it wasn't for the movie, you would have seen Nakamura all over the All Might and All For One fight scene. But no, we only saw him do like a very small cut, and that was kind of, I guess, the down spiral. Again, it wasn't horrible, but it was noticeable, and that's something that I'm kind of wondering about when it comes to season 4, because everybody in this call knows that Overhaul is one of my favorite villains and is my favorite villain from My Hero, and I hope that the fight that we get toward, I'm not going to spoil, but I hope that the fight that we get towards the end of that arc doesn't suffer from this. That's just my worry there, but yeah.
I want to add up real quick. I feel like, I don't know, I think we should also take into account how long they've maybe been working on this movie, because if it's been for a while, it could actually explain a few things, like for why My Hero this year is beginning, like season 4 is beginning in the fall season and not so much in the like summer, like April time, like it's actually releasing more in fall. So it maybe like the delay had something to do with them actually spending a bit more time in the movie. But then again, we don't know how long they've been working on it, so that's up there. But I think if an arc were to suffer, it would most likely be the Culture Festival, if they were to find a way to fit that in to the season. I think they can, given how a lot of the Overhaul arc is just kind of fights. You could condense that down to like much quicker than like regular just dialogue. And with the Culture Festival, I mean, it isn't too action heavy. There is like a pretty big fight that I hope doesn't get screwed up. But either way, I think that would be more like kind of like how the license exam was the arc that kind of suffered in season 3. I feel like Culture Festival, or the latter half, would be the one to suffer.
I mean, from what I understand in my memories of the Cultural Festival, most of it was slice of life anyway, so I feel like that would be the perfect time for them to be able to go like a little bit lax on the animation. Because honestly, as long as the gentle fight isn't really messed with, I don't really think we'll have much of a problem. Because that was the main draw to the whole arc. And judging by how they handled Bakugo versus Izuku, I feel like that'll be fine. Because they handled that perfectly. At the same time though, All For One versus One For All, that fight itself was a lot more tame in comparison to its manga counterpart. I could go so far as to say I feel that the manga was more animated than the anime.
That's
I don't know if I would go that far, but yeah, I do agree with you. I do prefer the manga version of that fight than the anime version, and I actually recently went back and watched it, and that still is the same mindset for me.
Agreed.
Now, Ninja, you are right about the culture festival. I've seen some people actually bring that up where they could take like a back seat because it's not too action heavy besides a fight or two, so maybe they could just relax when it comes to the slice of life portions of that story arc. But one thing that I am curious about is the fact that everybody, even BG and I were complaining about the fact that this is no longer like a spring anime, it's now like a fall/winter anime, and who knows, maybe because of that, the fact that the release date may be around October could be a blessing in disguise. Maybe that's just me, so.
We talked about what we hoping doesn't happen. We haven't really talked so much about what we wish to see.
Honestly, I would love it if the movies just continue to explore All Might's past, because we're probably never really going to see All Might in action too much anymore. And given how well All Might was handled in Two Heroes, I think they could even elaborate on that backstory more, because the way the movie was centered, it seemed like a lot of it was going to be backstory driven, but that was really only a small chunk of the movie. I feel like maybe if they were to expand on it and show even more, like maybe after, like his early days, like after he transferred to America and all that, I think that could work really well in a movie setting, like make it mainly All Might centered, because yeah, like we already got the whole All Might Deku team up in Two Heroes, so why don't we just get All Might fighting for himself, kind of like the Nomu fight in season 1, just something along those lines that just makes us go, wow, All Might's, I think that would be a great way to show that character off, given that the series can't really do it anymore. I think the movies are just the best way for it.
No, I agree with you on that. All Might is definitely one of the more popular characters in the show, and at one point, I think, generally at least, without like polls or actual votes, from what I saw like on social media, was the most popular character, or at least the most memorable character from My Hero. So to give more stuff on his past and for them to elaborate exactly what happened once he came back from America, or even if he was in America, or just something in general about him where we could see more of him and get to see him in action again, I think that would be something that's interesting. But one thing that I would like to see, just to throw a pitch out there, is I would like to see more on All For One and Shigaraki's past. But the issue with that is I feel like Horikoshi may want to save those particular story elements for the actual manga and for it to get fleshed out like in future story arcs that he's going to be covering 100% by his pen. So maybe that's not the right move to go to, but that's just something I would be interested in watching with Shigaraki, and kind of see more about his past and sort of the unnamed characters from that dark, portion of My Hero, so I think that'd be kind of interesting to, I guess, explore.
Me personally, I'm just hoping that we focus on something that isn't the main cast, I'd say, because I love the main cast, I love seeing them, but my issue with the last movie was so much that a lot of the cast is there just to be there. Like, they have real no purpose in being there because they don't really do anything in the plot. They just show up as cameos and then just disappear. And honestly, I feel a movie is a perfect time to explore other characters that we don't really get to see much of. Say, some of the actual pro heroes themselves. Or if you wanted to go to your idea about All Might's past, I want not so much about him, but I would want to see more of America. That's one of the main things I've been very interested in when it comes to My Hero. What's America like? Because I don't know where I heard this, but I heard this somewhere. They called it the birthplace of heroes. I can only imagine what their hero system or their hero society is like.
I've heard that too, and plus a lot of us have had debates in our server about, possibly heroes out there that could rival All Might, and even then, that's kind of us wanking that idea, but still, the idea that perhaps there could be superior heroes out there to the ones that we currently know of, I think America would be probably the best place to explore, or at least just in a different area of the Japan. I think that'd be something for them to explore, at least in the movie continuity, without them really fucking up the continuity that we're in right now.
Yeah, I think also this is kind of reaching out there. Maybe if they were to adapt certain aspects from the Vigilantes stuff in My Hero, like I don't know if Vigilantes is ever gonna get an anime adaptation. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, maybe it'll just get an OVA. But I feel like you could adapt a lot of those aspects into a movie form, but I don't know how well that would sell to wide stream audiences because Vigilantes is so niche, even in My Hero sense. So that's kind of out there. I guess I would see it more as an OVA, but I think a movie would be a great chance to incorporate some of concepts from Vigilantes into anime form.
I mean, people don't like to admit it, but My Hero does have a lot of lore within it, whether it's America, whether it's the outside world, whether it's, you know, just the past of a lot of already established characters within the series. So this movie, whatever it may be called, the last one being called Two Heroes, whatever this film is and whatever they decide to explore, there's a lot that they can go into, and if Horikoshi's helping, I'm all for it, because there's, again, just a lot of stuff that they can dive into without them really messing up the main continuity of what we're going to be in. And around that time, season 4 will probably be airing, and we'll be doing the overhaul stuff and the culture festival, gentle stuff. So, you know, it should be fine, at least in my opinion, depending on when it releases.
I think we've been here long enough. Thank you to my guests for taking time out of your day to help me with this video. And stay tuned because there's going to be more coming to the channel in the future. See ya.
Peace.
9 inches limp.